lundi 26 avril 2021. Madame, Messieurs, bonsoir. Merci d'honorer ce rendez-vous de l'information. C'est Prime News sur My Media Prime Television. Et pour l'ouverture de ce journal, des groupes d'organisations de la société civile dirigés par Ndi Nancy Saibo demandent la responsabilité, la transparence et la traçabilité dans la gestion des fonds Covid mis à la disposition du gouvernement camerounais. C'était lors d'une rencontre à la Fondation Mouna dans la capitale politique au cours de ce week-end. Un appel qui survient au moment où Human Rights Watch et Transparency International réclament également une enquête sur les 10 fonds. Le reportage de Lasha Kingsley.
The recent report of some international non-governmental organizations led by Human Rights Watch and Transparency International demanding for accountability, transparency and traceability in the management of COVID-19 funds put at the disposal of the government of Cameroon by the World Bank has led to a rude awakening amongst national and regional NGOs. A coalition of civil society organizations is seeking for transparency and accountability from the government of Cameroon. Ndi Nancy Saibo, Executive Director of Actions for Development and Empowerment, Follow the Money Cameroon, is leading the coalition.
The aim of this meeting is to come together to bring civil society and different stakeholders to make sure that we come together first and enhance COVID-19 transparency and accountability in Cameroon, because this is the moment where we need to start asking questions. Accountability is all about asking questions about how the government has managed COVID-19 fund. Before proceeding, I would like to comment on the government on accelerating the audit, because that is already positive when we talk about accountability. And we are anxiously waiting for the results of this audit, because we've noticed that a lot of flu and gaps has been going on when we talk about managing of COVID-19. And for example, you know about the bag of rice. Till today, we don't know what happened to the 4,000 bag of rice that was offered by OCA.
The coalition wants the arrest and prosecution of those who are being suspected of having embezzled the funds.
And after the result, we want to make sure, we want to see in that, to make sure that all those that are implicated in embezzlement are really held to account, because they need to pay for it. Because we know that due to this COVID-19, a lot of people have lost their life. We have a lot of families that have lost jobs. So it is not a foul play. It's not a play when we talk about accountability. It's a moment and this crucial time where citizens need to start asking questions about this fund.
COVID-19 Accountability Project seeks to advocate for accountability, transparency and open governance, while strengthening civic awareness and ensuring that target governments use COVID-19 intervention funds effectively in 7 African countries.
Et parlons de Covid-19, l'intensification de la campagne de sensibilisation sur la lutte contre le Covid-19 se poursuit à Alou, dans le Lébialem, région du sud-ouest, encadrée par le sous-préfet et le maire de cette localité qui appelle au respect strict des mesures barrières édictées par le gouvernement camerounais. Plus de précisions dans ce reportage que signe Genda Perdine Blanche.
The fight against the deadly COVID-19 pandemic has been revamped in Alou municipality, Lébialem, southwest region of Cameroon. Led by the divisional officer and the mayor, inhabitants have received basic sanitary kits that will enable them maintain hygiene and sanitary conditions. This move falls in line with government's measures against COVID-19.
The way we attend at today, it shows how we get confidence from it. As we come for here, we will not take them for play. When I hear me, yes. Now the interest we state get a hona. We want to see any man strong. That's sick the day. When I hear, and the kill. When you come up for market as a mayor, don't talk. Wear a mask. If you can't sit down, you one. If you move and put them down, so you breathe small. When you talk, no overblock your distance. If you put them down small, you can breathe fine. You want have plenty money, and government know they use money because they want to make politics. They use them because they want to see una healthy.
According to the mayor of the municipality, this is not the first time the sensitization campaign has been taken to Alo.
This is not the first time we are coming here for the exercise. This is the fourth time, especially when we see the market started functioning. Our people here had the conception that COVID does not exist, but we have convinced them, as per the number of the that have come out, it means that they really know that COVID exists and is killing. So we finish the exercise. We hope that they will make good use of what we have just distributed.
Alo is one of the communities in the southwest region hit hard by the ongoing socio-political crisis affecting the two restive regions of the country. Apart from being a stronghold for separatists, economic activities have relatively dropped. This move, according to officials, will extend to every individual in Alo, including neighboring communities.
Les autorités municipales de Bello, dans le nord-ouest, se sont engagées à donner un nouveau visage à la ville avec le slogan nouvellement adopté « Making Bello Again ». La révélation a été faite lors d'une séance de gestion des comptes de magasins qui s'est tenue dans le cadre ou alors dans les locaux du conseil de la localité de Bello ce week-end. Plus de précisions avec Fon Quinta.
Deserted streets and homes, a burned-down community market, with few residents witnessing gun battles between pro-separatist fighters and the Cameroon military, plus COVID-19 pandemic, posing a health threat. This is Bello Subdivision, Boyo Division Northwest region of Cameroon, a land flowing with diverse opportunities and rich economic potentials, now a shadow of herself. To harness these tampered opportunities and rekindle hope in Bello Subdivision, administrative and municipal authorities in the management and stores account session review the adoption of the slogan, Making Bello Again.
We have a lot of security challenges in Bello. We have to move ahead. The situation in Bello actually, we came and met it and we have to move ahead. We are going to build Bello. We are going to do everything that we can to bring back Bello to its greatness. Our motto today was making Bello great again.
During the session which held at the council premises, despite security challenges, Mengong Innocent revealed that the council has realized most of its projects.
We have realized two big bridges in two big rivers in Bello Subdivision. The third bridge linking Drombu and Yajwa Sumi is 80% realized. We are also into road construction. We have constructed two roads, and we are now working on the market to assure.
In the domain of education, the mayor revealed there has been a significant increase.
Last year we have tried, we realized more than 300% back to school, and we are working because we started from zero. So we are looking on the objective of bringing about the schools.
With an adopted draft administrative account, which stands at 388,920,850 in revenue and 321,074,863 in expenditure, councillors were called upon to regularly visit home for better implementation of projects and development.
Parlons de propreté à Kongsamba, dans la région du littoral, où dans le souci d'optimiser la propreté, une campagne d'hygiène et salubrité a été lancée par le maire Sem et Patrice. Ceci avant le lancement du concours de la ville la plus propre au Cameroun. Aileen Sama a les précisions pour ce reportage.
About 50 youth made up of males and females from the Kongsamba 2 Council in Mungo Division of the Littoral were employed by the Lord Mayor, Sem Patrice, over the weekend to launch this one-of-a-kind cleanup campaign with the unique objective of preparing the municipality ahead of the 2021 Cleanest City in Cameroon contest. The hygiene and sanitary exercise involved the cleaning of roads, bushes, blocked gutters and clogged drainages of all neighborhoods that make up Kongsamba 2 Council, and it should be noted, will be carried out periodically until the cleanup contest is launched for 2021. We just experienced the launch of a cleanup campaign here, and we, the youth of Kongsamba 2 municipality, have taken note of the great contest launched by the government, and I plead with all the young girls like me in this community to join the campaign. You know, being a cleaner is not a great job. It is true we sweep and it is a bit humiliating, but one can earn a living from it. It is worth mentioning that the Limba 1 Council in the Southwest region won the award for the 2020 Cleanest City in Cameroon contest, taking home a cash prize of 150 million francs CFA.
Toujours à Kongsamba, un motoboy âgé de 26 ans est passé de vie à trépas lors d'un accident de circulation survenu ce week-end. À l'origine, une collision entre ce camion-là et un autre engin lourd. Plus de détails avec Gladys Bomotongina.
Un accident mortel a eu lieu à Manengoubé après Kongsamba, causant la mort d'un jeune homme âgé de 26 ans originaire de Batibo et qui serait le motorboy. Ce dernier serait mort à l'intérieur du camion avant l'intervention des riverains. En effet, il y a environ 4h30 lorsque les populations sont alertées par un énorme bruit et se ruant alors sur les lieux.
Je suis le voisin immédiat de cette partie-là. L'accident s'est produit à 4h09. Et sorti, j'ai constaté que certainement il devait avoir un problème de sommeil parce que c'est le dérapage. Je n'ai pas vu autre chose que ça.
Bon, je suis même sorti pour lancer un coup de main. Comme les citons ont caché, je n'ai pas pu voir la voiture. Je suis encore reparti me coucher. C'est là où le voisin me dit qu'il y a eu accident et puis je suis sorti.
D'après le chauffeur camion présentement à l'hôpital, le motorboy a tenté de sortir du camion durant le tonneau. Or, ceci arrive alors que leur camion se retrouve gêné sur la route par un autre camion.
Il y a un camion aussi qui descendait. Bon. Et le camion là a pris son côté. Le camion a pris son côté. Bon, lui maintenant, il a même fait le jeu de phare. Il n'a pas...
Il n'a pas compris.
Il n'a pas compris. Donc ça, maintenant, il voulait faire le face en face. C'est pourquoi lui, il s'est rabattu de ce côté-ci. Et il s'est retrouvé là où il s'est retrouvé là.
La prudence et la vigilance en question de circulation routière restent un sujet d'actualité au Cameroun.
Parlons de cinéma. Au moins 8 Camerounais dans l'industrie du cinéma, à l'instar de Daphne Ndje et Kang Quintus, ont reçu des récompenses pour leur contribution au développement de l'industrie du cinéma au Cameroun. C'était lors de la cérémonie de clôture du Festival international du film du Cameroun ce week-end à Boya, cérémonie qui a été présidée par le ministre délégué auprès du Minepat, Paul Tazong. Clarisse Ekowe dans ce reportage.
Some Cameroonians in the movie industry have been recognized and awarded with excellence following their outstanding talents that has contributed to the growth of the Cameroon movie industry beyond national frontiers. This was during this closing ceremony of this 2021 edition of the Cameroon Film Festival, CAMIF. Out of the 13 different award categories, the Cameroon movie industry bagged 8 awards. These include an honorary award for the best soundtrack in Cameroon films that was won by Salatiel in the movie The Lion King. In the place for the best Cameroonian short film was Mona. Carrying the day for the best Cameroonian short film was A Fisherman's Diary, one of Cameroon's trending movie on Netflix, an international movie selling platform. Among other awards were secured by the Cameroon movie industry.
This award is particularly special to me. This film has been able to win 72 awards in the international scene. But it's always a special feeling when you get it wrong, because this is where everything was done, this is where the film was shot. I'm very honored, I'm very humbled by these awards. Being for in one night is quite blessing, and I want to say a big congratulations to the entire cast and crew for Fisherman's Diary.
I'm really glad to see that it represents a particular aspect of our culture which people don't really pay attention to. the deprivation of girl child education, the deprivation of girl child freedom and early marriages. I'm glad that these are pertinent issues that the Future Man's Diary talked about.
A feeling of satisfaction for the organizers.
Kamif team, myself and Kamif team, we are so happy, and I believe that come next edition we are going to do better. We're going to do better because we are certain that the COVID, because most of our foreign partners did not show up because of the pandemic, so we're expecting about 50 of them, just about 22 came, which is not too bad. We are expecting that by next year the big brands will be around to make Kamif wonderful, to get it more bigger.
Presiding over this heavily attended ceremony was Minister Paul Tasson, who congratulated the young talent for their relentless efforts in projecting the Cameroon culture to the world.
To ensure that we reserve sufficient support for the next edition of Kamif, and why not for the editions to come. But the important thing is we are going to work with Kamif to ensure their sustainability, because we think Kamif serving as a guild, as an actors guild, should be supported strongly and sustainably if we want the cinema industry in our country to develop. Thank you.
Meanwhile, an honorary award was also given to Ramsey Noir. 4 other awards on Best Documentary, Lifetime Achievement Award, Fallen Hero Award, Best Short Film were secured by other countries whose content were projected and evaluated during the week-long activities of Kamif 2021.
Madame, Messieurs, vous regardez le journal de 18h30 sur My Media Prime Television et vous faites bien de rester scotché. Une usine de transformation du café à Maitrich Nkwen, Bamenda, a été inaugurée ce week-end par le ministre de l'Agriculture et du Développement rural, Gabriel Mbaye-Robe, avec un appui financier de la Banque africaine de développement et du gouvernement camerounais. On parle d'un montant de plus de 200 millions de francs CFA. Cette usine nouvellement inaugurée devrait produire environ 2000 tonnes de café par an. Notre correspondant Charles Kebois.
The Northwest region is known to the production of both Arabic and Robusta coffee that competes with Brazil and Ethiopia. To this, over the weekend in Bamenda at the Northwest Cooperative Association NWCA headquarters at Mile 3 Nkwen, a coffee transformation factory was inaugurated by the Minister of Agriculture, His Excellency Gabriel Mbaye-Robe. The new processing factory unit in Bamenda, acquired with funds from the African Development Bank and the government of Cameroon through phase 2 of the Grassfield Participatory Decentralized Rural Development Project GP Derodep phase 2 of Midino, is expected to double the production capacity of coffee to a tune of over 1,000 tons by the NWCA. Winding Timothy Ntam, General Manager NWCA Limited, during the inauguration ceremony in a speech said, with the over 3,000 coffee seedlings already distributed to farmers in the region, there is hope within the next 3 or 4 years, productivity will increase with everything being equal.
I am very sure that we're getting about 1,500. But we are paying around 1,000. But still in that 1,000, we occupy a comfortable position as far as the production of Arabic is concerned.
Gabriel Mbaye-Robe, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, while inaugurating the coffee transformation factory, challenged the youths to get involved in agriculture as he promised to support over 35,000 coffee farmers, supplying fertilizers, pesticide, and funds to buy coffee farmers' produce in the region.
I supply inputs, I supply fertilizer and pesticide, and I supply revolving funds to buy beans from the farmers. So you can be assured that coffee is much important. Very important for agriculture in the Cameroon and for the North region.
The coffee transformation factory worth over 200 million will in the days ahead be constructed a befitting laboratory and is expected to produce over 2,000 tons annually.
Le révérend Jones Ebot Ayok vient de prendre ses nouvelles fonctions de secrétaire du presbytère de l'East Mungo Side et pasteur de l'église presbytérienne de Bonamoussadi, événement qui a été honoré par la présence d'un collège de pasteurs présidé par le modérateur de l'église presbytérienne au Cameroun, le révérend Fonky Samuel Forba Dolingonde, nous conte l'effervescence de cette cérémonie.
Christians of the East Mungo South Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon can now boast of a newly inducted Presbytery Secretary in the name and person of the Reverend Jones Ebot Ayok, who has also been instituted into office officially as the parish pastor of PC Bonamoussadi Douala by the Right Reverend Fonky Samuel Foba. During the Douala ceremony, which has highly been attended by a college of pastors, state and administrative authorities, amongst others, the Reverend Fonky Samuel Foba, moderator of the PCC, while drawing inspiration from the book of Exodus, enjoined both the entire Christian body and the newly inductee to worship God and keep His commandments. And as a sign of fellowship, the Reverend Jones raised his right hand while promising to uphold his pastoral ministry with dexterity and honor in the presence of his congregants.
I promise God be my helper.
On his part, the moderator of the PCC had these remarks to make of the day.
It was a well-planned service, and we are so happy and pray that God's empowerment received this day will enable him to serve God in truth and in spirit and grow this presbytery.
Married to a beautiful wife and blessed with 2 kids, much is however expected of the newly inducted and instituted pastor, the Reverend Jones Ebot.
Just hope that through the induction and commissioning of Reverend Jones Ayok, this congregation and the presbytery as a whole is going to go from strength to strength.
And as an honored guest for the day, Barrister Tumfo Nico Hale now recounts of his best experience about the man of the day.
What I admired of Reverend Bo Richin was that he did not take Christians to the pulpit. He did not, settle scores with their Christians in the pulpit.
Like every successful event will roll up, the precious moments were immortalized with snapshots as the Christians brought in their gifts, from whence the congregants wined and dined in jubilation with the inducted Reverend Jones Ebot.
C'est la dernière semaine du mois d'avril et qui dit dernière semaine du mois d'avril dit semaine mondiale de la vaccination célébrée chaque 24 au 30 avril cette année sur le thème Les vaccins nous rapprochent. La campagne montre comment la vaccination permet de renouer les liens avec des personnes et plus encore, comme nous l'explique Bokengo Wardi dans ce reportage.
Many infectious life-threatening diseases are being eradicated through immunization to protect future generations.
Immunization is a building block of strong primary health care and universal health coverage. Increasing vaccine coverage in low and middle-income countries by 2030 would not only save lives, it could also prevent 24 million people from falling into poverty due to health expenses.
World Immunization Week seeks to create awareness regarding the role vaccines play in one's life and health.
Immunization is also vital to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, even those not directly related to health. Vaccines allow people to live full, healthy, and productive lives.
It should be borne in mind that
up to 3 million lives are saved every year thanks to safe and effective vaccines. But there are still millions of children worldwide who don't receive these life-saving tools. Many have never been immunized. We must not tolerate a world in which a child dies from a disease that can be easily prevented with a low-cost vaccine.
Immunization saves life, protects one and their family, community and the world at large from life-threatening diseases and reduces the number of deaths worldwide.
À l'instar des autres pays du monde, le Cameroun a commémoré dimanche 25 avril la 14e journée mondiale de lutte contre le paludisme sous le thème Zéro palu. Tirer un trait sur le paludisme, c'était dans la ville de Mbalmayo, département du Nyonguesso, région du centre, où des données présentées ont révélé que près de 3 millions de cas de paludisme ont été rapportés au cours de l'année dernière et 4121 en sont décédés, majoritairement des enfants de moins de 5 ans au cours des descentes dans les centres, dans les régions du centre. En tout cas, intégré les femmes enceintes ont reçu des moustiquaires imprégnés. Elles ont également bénéficié d'une dose du traitement prévention intermittent du paludisme. Présents à cette commémoration étaient des formations sanitaires de la ville de Mbalmayo et les représentants du MinSanté. Et en sport, les matchs de la 9e journée d'élite S1 se sont joués hier dimanche dans plusieurs stades au Cameroun. Je vous propose de suivre le condensé des différentes rencontres avec Quentin Etapé.
2 matchs se sont discutés hier au stade de la réunification de Douala. Le premier, qui a commencé à 13h30, s'est soldé avec la victoire de Fovou, 2 buts à 0 devant l'Avion dans le groupe A. La seconde rencontre, qui était prévue à 15h30, s'est terminée par la joie d'AS Fortuna qui a battu Union avec 2 buts à 0 aussi au même moment, mais à 13h00 et à 15h00, 2 autres matchs se sont déroulés au stade annexe de la réunification, à l'issue desquels Astre s'est imposé avec 2 buts à 0 contre Panthère et New Star s'est incliné vis-à-vis de Canon avec 0 but à 1 dans le pool B. Par ailleurs, à la même période, c'est-à-dire à 15h00, Bambuto de Bouddha chicote de 4 buts à 1, Dragon de Yaoundé dans le pôle A au stade de Bouddha. Au stade Omnisport de Bafoussam, Futur quant à lui écrase Yafout avec 1 but à 0. PWD de Bamenda fait la même chose face à Eding Sport de la Ligue avec 1 but à 0 au complexe Bamenda Yossa Stadium. Et puis dans le groupe B, au stade d'Ongwa-Ekili à Yaoundé, Noustar s'est vu renversé par Canon avec 0 but à 1. Tels sont les résultats de la 9e journée du championnat camerounais Elite One. 2 rencontres ont été reportées pour aujourd'hui. Ces matchs devraient déjà se dérouler depuis en journée au stade annexe de Bepanda de Douala. Il s'agissait de l'UMS de Loum contre Yossa et Colombe contre Couton. Absente stade Renard, les raisons de ces reports sont indéterminées.
Et c'est par ce reportage de Quentin Etapé que nous mettons fin à la première édition de cette semaine qui a été coordonnée par Fetata et Wane Ela Inolinga était à la production. Madame, Messieurs, merci d'avoir été des nôtres. Les programmes se poursuivent sur My Media Prime Television.